range of special occasion cakes creatively tiered with irresistible delights.
It's a surprise, it's an occasion.
Celebration Gâteau, special occasion cakes that are anything but traditional.
Nobody doesn't like ceremony.
These days, everybody is looking to save some money. So go to tomorrow's one-day sale at Target, where you can get no deposit lay-by and 12.5% off the mark price of everything from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m.
They call these cars the Formula Ones of the forest, and with their high budgets and high technology, the comparison with Formula One racing is quite valid. Just 3 years ago, the World Championship came down under for the first time, and with the success of the Commonwealth Bank Rally Australia, Australia was assured a place on the World Rally Circuit, a circuit that sees its participants take a frenetic, high-speed bump and jump, slip and slide around some of the worst roads in the world. As always, the championship began in scenic Monte Carlo, in the world's most prestigious rally. As they did in 1990, the world champion team of Carlos Sainz and Luis Moya swept all before them to take out the first event of the year and get things off to a good start for Toyota, chasing its first ever Constructors' Championship, something no Japanese manufacturer has ever achieved. For the team's arch-rivals, Lancia, the season doesn't start so well. Their top driver, Finland's Juha Kankkunen, can only manage a 5th place. Through Sweden and Portugal, the championship continues, and then to the toughest rally of them all, Kenya's grueling Safari Rally. With the Spaniards Sainz and Moya crashing, Kankkunen gives Lancia its first victory in 6 months. After Africa, it's off to Corsica, and then Greece, where the man they call El Matador, Carlos Sainz, continues his battle with the flying Finn Kankkunen. They each record another victory, Sainz in Corsica, Kankkunen in Greece. To the Southern Hemisphere for the first time, and Sainz is again victorious in both New Zealand and Argentina, and is looking invincible until Kankkunen hits back with a fine win in his homeland at the Thousand Lakes Rally. So after 9 rounds, the Drivers' Championship has Sainz on top with 5 victories, 20 points clear of Kankkunen. In the Manufacturers' Championship, Lancia holds a slender lead over the hard-charging Celica's. Could it be that 1991 would finally see the Japanese tighten their grip on the title? It's a title that Lancia has held for 4 consecutive years. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. The first stage brought spectators out in their thousands. They crammed the sidewalks and hung off every available vantage point. The setting was Perth's restaurant district, Northbridge. The special stage was set up to give some 80,000 people an intimate look at rallying. But for the drivers, a dusty forest track would have been preferable.
Oh, it's okay, but, you know, I would like to start to have a proper stage, to warm up a little bit, to have the first stage here in the States. It's okay, but personally, I don't like so much.
So you're not going to be going very fast here?
No, I think the rally is starting tomorrow. I will try, but carefully.
It's quite difficult and tricky. I have seen it in the practice, but you know, it was in the normal traffic, so I don't know how is it, but I think everybody take quite careful.
The 59 starters ran in reverse order, with the slowest cars going first, but gradually the tempo increased, and by the time local hero Ross Dunkerton hit the streets, the times were tumbling.
Beauty! No, what about you, River? Let's go again!
Dunkerton's time of 1:37 was the fastest so far.
1:39. Right, finish the rally now.
El Matador was yet to come. If he was being more cautious than usual, he had a funny way of showing it. One minute 34 for Sainz and Moyer, but the smooth driving, defending Rally Australia champion Juha Kankkunen went 2 seconds better. At the end of the first stage, it was Kankkunen and Schwartz sharing the honours, with Oriol in third and Sainz and Allen equal fourth. But early next day, the rally would begin in earnest.
O'clock Monday.
Murphy Brown audition, take 2.
Life in the 70s.
This is me.
When Miles was just a boy.
Gee.
And Frank was very hip.
Thank you.
The way it was.
We've got to take some risks now and then.
And is.
What do you mean? Cut!
You know, I've never been the marrying kind, but people can change.
Murphy Brown Monday on 9.
The V6 Sports Coupe that'll steal your heart. The new Mazda MX-6, where passion meets performance.
When we asked you what you wanted from a washing powder, you didn't tell us. You demanded a washing powder that shifts even this sort of dirt. A smaller pack that you don't need a crowbar to open. And better for the environment to boot. You demanded it. Omo Micro delivers. Easy to open, a piece of cake. And because it's concentrated, just one scoop gives sensationally whiter whites and dazzlingly brighter colours. And because you're using less, it's another small step forward for a better environment. You demanded it, Omo Micro delivers.
New Omo Micro, concentrated powder for a concentrated clean.
And so in the end, it's not just good value, it's great.
So, you got yourself a new pair of glasses, and you did it in just 1 hour at Vision Express. But there's more. Buy your complete new pair of prescription glasses at Vision Express now, and you get a tinted second pair free from our special selection. With frame after frame to choose from, you'll find a pair to suit the both of you. Vision Express 2 for 1 plus a free tint in just 1 hour. Available at Knox District Centre, Southland Shopping Centre, Burke Street City, 6th floor Myer City Store and Melbourne Central.
Good food, good health, with Rebecca Gibney.
When I was growing up, I was really quite lucky. In our house, we always had plenty of good food and got lots of exercise. I'm glad I did. You see, a diet that includes enough calcium, say 3 serves a day of your favourite dairy food, can help act as an insurance policy against osteoporosis. More importantly, the younger you start, the better. Lucky for me, I got off on the right foot.
Brought to you by the Australian Dairy Corporation.
The view you get from the front bumper of a rally car doing close to 200 kilometres an hour doesn't allow you much time to take in the scenery. But Western Australia's Swan Valley was at its picturesque best for day 2 of the Commonwealth Bank Rally Australia. The early road conditions were good and drivers managed to break existing records on several of the morning stages. At Muresk, the Spaniards Sainz and Moya were fastest and moved to within 3 seconds of the Finns, Kankinen and Pirinen. The Swedes, Eriksson and Parmenter, were also doing well in their Mitsubishi, and the always hard-charging Frenchmen, Auriel and Ocelli, were not far behind in their Lancia. The best local performer was Ross Dunkerton, who was in 8th place in spite of having a less powerful car than the works drivers. Before the second Muresk stage, he was keeping a close eye on the opposition, especially the 10th place car, Kiwi Rod Millen's Mazda.
What are you doing, keeping an eye on your rivals, Ross?
Oh, well, we've got to keep a pretty close check on what they do to their car over here, mate. Yeah, it's sort of on at the moment between the Mazda and the Mitsubishi. There's not much of a gap. I think it's only 15 seconds or so, which is a bit of a shame of the demise of Possum Bourne. Otherwise, we'd still all be sort of fighting it out. So now with only the 2 of us.
Well, you seem to be mixing with even more illustrious company. What about having Salonen behind you?
Yeah, but I don't think for too long. But it's good to. I had to renegotiate my fee before the last stage, but I said we've got to do it now, but they wouldn't talk to me.
With the benefit of one run around Muresk, the teams were ready for some real action in the afternoon, and none more so than the arch rivals, the 2 leading cars of Sainz and Kankinen.
On the line now, getting the countdown, the former 2-time world champion, Juha Kankinen, in the Lancia. Now, his best time last time round here was a 3:38. 34 is where he has to be, and look at this, because the times are locked together. He and Carlos Sainz exactly the same times after 8 stages. Colin Bond, let's have a look where he may be able to pick up some time here.
Well, he's certainly trying, Darryl. It's tail out there, over the crest, down towards this bit of a dip, and then through a grid. What we've got to be careful of here, I guess, is just make sure they're going to get through the grid, though.
Look at this, gets air too as he comes over the grid, lines it up, comes round the corner. Watch the attitude of the car. Not as untidy as last time, certainly going harder, but really, really tidy now.
True, but I don't know whether it's as quick. We'll have to just see that at the end of the run.
Of course, Carlos Sainz, when he went round, he had the car in all sorts of angles. The first time round here, back into the air again now. Kankinen turns up the wing, and look at the dust starting to fly. He knows this is the moment of truth, because Sainz, the Spaniard, has been eating away second by second as this rally progresses.
True, and over this next crest is going to be very critical, and down the hill, where it's fairly rough. He's certainly trying. The tail is out much further than what it was in the early run.
No doubt about that, Colin, and this is a really hard run down here. Look at this. He's got to try and straight line it through. Remember, these roads have got little sort of marbles on them. They're very loose. They've got to make sure the tyre choice was right. Everything's got to be spot on at this sort of speed. Watch him watch the speed off now. Goes it one way. Now throws it the other way on opposite lock.
That was fantastic. You noticed how he sort of checked the car coming down to that corner with the grid after it. Made it fantastic, and I would say picked up at least a couple of seconds on that particular spot.
Around 180 kilometres an hour, and gets it sideways round. He's really got the wick down, and the big boot's right into it. Look at this, the dust is starting to fly. Remember, Sainz is the next car away.
And I tell you what, this is going to be a very quick run. He's certainly trying a lot harder than he did on the first run.
And there's the Spaniard, the world champion. He's away. Both cars on the track now. This will be a battle. Remember, Sainz did a 34. 3:38 was Kankinen's best time. So we'll get the clocks running and we'll tell you. But they're head-to-head at the moment and on the track at the same time. Great stuff.
Another good check through that corner before he came into it and powering on, drifting very wide.
You'll get a chance to see the contrasting styles. Now we saw Juha, the Finnish driver, come down here at one angle. Look at this. He starts to wash it off through and get some air. Not as much as he did this morning there, but look at the sideways action here. Oh, screws it right on.
And out into the dirt, I think he's actually trying. They both are. I tell you what, this is going to be a lot faster than what they were this morning. A lot of understeer there, just initially the turn, and then away it went.
Colin, the contrasting styles, amazing. Oh, look look at the air that time, the Toyota. He thinks he's an astronaut here in Western Australia at the moment. Gets it cocked up, watching what's the speed off. Sets it up, there it is, beautiful stuff.
It is actually through the grid, he's made it. Oh, wow. I tell you what, all they're worrying about is getting through these grids and working out what's going to happen to the car after it.
Now here's Cankonen. He's on the other end of the circuit. Remember this, it's around 6Ks round. He's got to come up looking for time. Now the car gets a little sideways. Watch him here, soar away. The wall gets plenty of air. Bumps it down.
That's right, through this nice right-hand sweeper. Tail out again, power on. Flat to the boards now. This is down to the finish line, and he's making sure this is going to be as fast as they can. Look at the time.
3:33.5, so he's bettered his first time round there by a number of seconds.
Now here they come over the jump. Saint said last time he wanted to go flat out. I think he's doing more than that this time.
Just got the right foot buried in the firewall signs as he goes flat out over the hump. He ups, oh, no worries about that. Watch him come around here, sideways again. We'll wait for the time. Up in the air he comes down. One more to go. Swings it sideways. Gets it really sideways. Puts the boot in again.
Oh, this is fantastic stuff. Look at the Alvis there on that. Power on. They're certainly having a go. I've never seen them drive this hard.
And a lot of air testing the suspension of the Toyota right out on the brakes now, sideways. Oh, this is fantastic stuff in Australia. Heading up to the finish line. Watch for the time. Watch for the time. There we go. 3:32.7.
Ah, that's the quickest time again.
After his drive that had many comparing it with Formula One ace Ayrton Senna's drives during qualifying, the Spaniard took the lead for the first time. But if he was elated, he wasn't showing it.
How was that, Carlos?
Yeah, it was okay. Everything okay.
Did you beat your Kankonen?
1 second.
You beat him by 1 second, so you're now 1 second in the lead.
1 second in the lead, yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Back out on the track, and Ross Dunkerton was showing that if Sainz could be spectacular, so could he.
The chopper chasing them all the way. You can see the dust coming up. We're talking 160, 170 clicks an hour. Straight lines it as much as he can. Now, this is a dicey part of the circuit here when you go down on the hill run now.
Down here, we've got a very tight right-hand corner with the grid after it, and you just got to set the car up perfectly for it.
The grid coming up. There's the corner Collins told you about. See the other. Oh, look at that. The Aussie's gone through sideways. Oh, he's just shortened that up a bit, I'll say.
I think it was pretty spectacular for the television people, but it was more spectacular for us because we went through the grid, which I didn't think we were going to make. Fred said it's all over, but we actually did get through. So I think you could have probably put a hair between the front of the car and the back of the car. We just got through. It was, mate, what am I doing here?
At the end of the second US stage, the Spaniards held a 1 second lead over the Finns. The Swedes were in third place, only 9 seconds behind, and the two Frenchmen in fourth, 12 seconds off the pace. The highest placed local was the mad West Australian, Ross Dunkerton, still in 8th place. Coming up, what it's like to sit beside the driver in a World Championship rally car.
The veterans of G-Force.
It was the right thing to do.
POWs in Japan.
I have got nothing at all.
Slave laborers now seeking compensation.
If you want the TPI, go down to the cenotaph and drop dead.
And the builder.
I still love these people.
Who's gone bust.
Get the gun, gone kill him.
And his family and friends.
I want my house.
Want him to pay.
You kill yourself.
Who's the Australian Open champ?
And the wild boy of gold.
Is there any woman in Wayne Riley's life? No. Is there any man?
Next week, a current affair.
These days, everybody is looking to save some money. So go to tomorrow's one-day sale at Target, where you can get no deposit lay-by and 12.5% off the mark price of everything from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m.
Some of the world's toughest drivers work in the Marsden Rehabilitation Centre in Sydney. So when we wanted to test the new Hoover 1500 washing machine, we knew exactly where to go. They put the 1500's working components through their paces for 3 years, 7 days a week, 8 washes a day. After surviving the Marsden laundry, you can be sure your new Hoover 1500 will survive almost anything. Hoover puts you ahead of the rest.
What makes Sizzler special?
I start with an empty plate and end up with salad extraordinaire. Oop, with so much fresh fruit. I build fruit salad delight.
I choose my favourite pasta, add my favourite sauce and create Fettuccine Supremo. Come and design your own personal salad from the Sizzler's great value, all-you-can-eat fresh fruit salad and pasta bar. Sizzler.
Julian DeSanti, master builder, values the magnificent homes he helps restore. He also values his MasterCard.
We used to have a couple of cards. Now we only need one. MasterCard, we can use it anytime, anywhere. In fact, we find no card is more widely accepted. Beautiful.
Master the moment with MasterCard.
Brash's Crazy Christmas Clear Out this Sunday. Kenwood's Remote Hi-Fi sacrificed to $687. This Canon camcorder at a ridiculous $9.99. And TX Remote Video Player that records reduced to $2.99. Crazy Christmas Clear Out Sunday only where? The answer is Brash's Superstores.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Into the forests of WA, the teams in Rally Australia press on. Most attention is on Sains, Kankinen and Ericsson. But it's not just the lower-ranked cars that get overlooked. Sometimes it's easy to forget that rally driving is a two-person effort. That of the driver and the navigator, or co-driver as they're more commonly called these days. To keep a car at 200 kilometres an hour on a narrow tree-lined track whilst dancing a dangerous tango on a ball-bearing-like surface takes a special skill. And sometimes that skill is not sufficient. For a driver in these situations, there is some comfort, or at least they have their destiny in their own hands. The co-driver just has a page of notes. But surprisingly, those in the passenger seat rarely look at it as placing their lives in someone else's hands.
No, because I have also the life in my own hands, because it depends also on my work, if everything is running well. But I think most co-drivers in this professional business, they trust their drivers.
All the co-drivers, I think we all rely on the driver and we all know what he's doing. I mean, with Carlos especially, feel very comfortable and very safe in the car. I think he knows what he has to do and he knows when he has to attack and when he has to go 120% and when he has to go 80%. And I'm always happy with that.
Rallies rarely finish without some crashes, and there isn't a driver who hasn't had an excursion off the track at some time or another. Even the great Carlos Sains last year found himself facing the wrong way after a high-speed lose.
It's part of the game. It's a gamble. Sometimes you are going a bit too fast and then you take the risk. Sometimes it goes okay and sometimes you go off the road, and those things happen and you have to count with that also.
I think everybody in this business has been crashing cars. Yeah, roll the cars and go off the road and yeah, things like that. This is this sport, I think.
It's several days before the rally, but it's a vital time for all the teams. This is reconnaissance time, the time when they get to drive each stage of the rally. The driver gets to know a little bit about what lies ahead. But most importantly, this is the time when the co-drivers prepare their pace notes for the event.
Left 3.5 narrow at the white building.
I think we're going to put wide approach.
Drivers and co-drivers have a shorthand form of communication. They grade bends from 1 to 6 depending on how tight they are, and all the instructions go into the pace notes. They may look like hieroglyphics, but they detail every turn, every crest, and every hazard.
So when I give him this information, which is coming up here, to next hairpin right, I have to start very early here because the speed is so high. So maybe after 200 meters, I tell him then that he has a left 4, and this small sign here it tells that it's a short one. So it's a left 4, short, and then we have this sign here. It says brake. For the driver, the pace notes have to be like some sort of film rolling all the time in front of him, so he can see exactly what is going to happen after next crest or next very fast bend. He knows exactly what is happening.
As well as having a good verbal understanding, drivers and co-drivers need to be good friends as well. They spend more time in close company than most partnerships.
We are leaving a lot of time. I mean, I'm spending much more time with Carlos than with my wife. I'm staying with him last year. We've been 320 days together and 12 hours per day. And you are in a very small place, which is a car. So if you're not very good friends, that will end up very bad.
They may not receive as many accolades or be as famous, but the co-drivers share all the trials and tribulations of their drivers. And they also share the elation of victory or the satisfaction of a good performance.
When everything is working well and the speed is good, the times is good, you get a very nice feeling also as a co-driver.
It's difficult to explain when you are with a helmet inside a car and going really fast in the stage. It gives you a really good feeling. I mean, this is what I like.
Derecha, derecha, buena más ojo, sí. Buena más ojo. Para uno.
After a long day of fast and furious driving, Sainz and Moya started a special night stage at Curtin University, holding a 5-second lead. But it was here that things started to go wrong for the Spaniards.
Can you tell us what happened at the start? Yes, it seems like car number 2, Carlos Sainz, has rolled in the stage, has got back on his wheels and is continuing around. He's all right? Well, it would appear that way, yes.
Sainz and Moya may have been uninjured, but their car didn't fare so well. As the pair escaped from their smoking vehicle, 22 mechanics went to work on the Celica to get it ready for the next stage. This was not a time for finesse. Upset with himself, Sainz angrily explained to the Toyota hierarchy how the $350,000 car had ended up on its roof. The incident cost them a precious 1 minute 30 and the lead. And in a sport where rivals are friends rather than enemies, there was one other who wanted to know what happened, the man who'd taken over the lead, Juha Kankkunen.
Suddenly the car going, you have the chicane, first chicane.
Yes.
And then suddenly you have a straight
Yes.
and left junction.
Yes.
And then suddenly the car going
into this left junction.
Back on the track, and the tarmac specialist, Armin Schwartz, was setting a blistering pace. But not all drivers could pick such a good, clean racing line. Around the special stage for the second time, Kankkunen extended his lead. And incredibly, in spite of the pounding his car had endured, Sainz was just 4 seconds off the pace. But on overall standings, the accident had pushed him back to 7th. But it was still too early for the rally leader to start popping the champagne corks.
I know, it's so long way. The rally has just started, so...
With just a 5-second lead, Kankkunen's caution was justified. Hot on his heels was another Lancia, that of Oriol and Ocelli. Then followed Ericsson and Parmenter in a Mitsubishi Galant, Schwartz and Hertz in a Toyota Celica, and Allen and Kivamaki in a Subaru four-wheel drive turbo. Ross Dunkerton was the highest placed Australian in 9th place. Coming up, some of the most spectacular crashes ever seen in World Championship rallies.
They're coming through the crease again.
captains of cricket.
Absolutely brilliant. What a catch.
With all the agony and ecstasy.
That's gone. Simon O'Donnell when he hits it.
Of warfare at the wicket.
Tom Moody hit straight, and that's coming into the members.
I say we don't like cricket.
Short ball, he's pulled it away, magnificent. Oh, and that's bowled him, Melon Boy.
We love it. We love it. Yeah, we love it.
A short message from Just Jeans. 20% off. That's right, 20% off. 20% off all shorts. Sunday only. Only at Just Jeans.
If you can create all this with just one can of new Heinz Tomato Combo, imagine what you could do with 4 different cans. New Heinz Tomato Combo. It's a can full of ideas.
If you choose the wrong type of sunscreen lotion, you could end up looking like a lobster. A lot of lotions claim they'll save your skin. So, what's the difference? Some are too greasy, or they wash off in water. Some don't offer the right protection for your skin type, and some don't effectively filter out the sun's burning rays. Le Tan is a non-greasy, moisturizing sunscreen with collagen that provides positive protection even in the water. Le Tan, vive la différence.
In 1981, it was...
Winner, Cats.
In 87...
Phantom of the Opera.
And in 1990...
And the winner, Best Musical, Return to the Forbidden Planet.
In London, it blew the roof right off the box office. The critics spelt it out. The best rock and roll show in town, with 25 smash hits from the decade when music had... Toyota's range of sports cars sponsor Return to the Forbidden Planet, coming to the Comedy Theatre. Book now.
If you don't want to fly business as usual, try Lauda's new Amadeus class. It is a first-class service at a business class price.
Fly Lauda's new Amadeus class to Vienna, the heart of the new Europe.
Fly Lauda. Service is our success.
Book at your travel agent or call Lauda Air toll-free 008-251-206.
How do you spell creamy?
Creamy? P-R-A-I-S-E.
P-R-A-I-S-E.
Praise mayonnaise.
Nothing tastes creamier. Praise traditional, praise light with canola, and praise lifestyle with canola.
After the first full day of rally driving, some of the cars were looking a little second-hand. Frenchman Didier Aurel, in second place, had glanced a tree and his Lancia's door wouldn't close. Young West German driver Armin Schwartz, in fourth place, is carrying the flag for Toyota after Sainz' mishap the previous night, and he's now feeling the strain. On the other hand, Neil Bates from Canberra has never had it so good. He's been given a works Celica to drive and is backed up by a big team of mechanics.
I feel out of place, actually. Usually I get out of the car and help when we're rallying ourselves, but here I just get out and stand around with my hands in my pockets. It takes a bit of getting used to, actually.
Well, you think you could get used to it?
Oh, most definitely. I think I'll want a motorhome at every rally I go to now.
Working next to Bates' car are an even bigger group of Toyota mechanics trying to get Carlos Sainz' Celica right after his rollover. The Spaniard is still unhappy with its handling, so the front suspension is whipped out and new struts put in, a job they complete in just 9 minutes. Watching over the work, Sainz still appears despondent.
So you've lost over a minute and a half. Do you think you can get some of that back?
I don't know. I think it's very difficult. I don't think so, but I will try to go as fast as possible.
In contrast, race leader Kankinen is pretty relaxed, but still wary about the Spaniards.
Yes, but you know that Didier and Kenneth are very close behind, and also Carlos can, if he do well, he's sure he's trying hard, and he is coming up there, and you know we are cleaning for road for him, so he can make good times today.
So the race is still on?
Oh yes.
Thank you.
The first stage on day 3 is one that's guaranteed to shake out the cobwebs and rattle the bones. It's called the roller coaster. It's one of the most exciting stages in the rally. Roller coaster is nearly 6 kilometres, but the cars will take just over 3 minutes to complete the distance, at times reaching speeds of 180 kilometres an hour. Sainz, desperate to make up time, leaves no doubt about his intentions. He's going for it. Halfway through the stage, Sainz comes over a crest visibly faster than the previous cars and seems to leave his braking a little late. Incredibly, the Toyota drives away as if nothing even happened. The aerial perspective gives a better view of the rollover. From the time the wheels leave the road to the time they return is just 6 seconds. And in spite of the off-road excursion, the Spaniard records the 3rd fastest time for the stage, just 4 seconds slower than Kankinen and Ericsson. Into the pine forest, the rally moves about 100 kilometres southeast of Perth. Although the track is still damp in patches after heavy rain before the rally, the going is mostly very fast and dry. German driver Armin Schwarz is pushing hard near the finish line, getting up on 2 wheels, but at least he has all 4 to finish the stage on, which is more than can be said for Marco Allen, who shatters a wheel on his Subaru when he hits a tree.
Yeah, I lost everything, you know, in our right in front, in left side, so everything. I come without wheel.
At the start of stage 14, Sainz has gained a little time and has moved up into 5th place. With 2 rollovers in the 3 stages behind him, he's driving like a man possessed, as usual. But he pushes just a little too hard, especially on the corner where his teammate Schwarz had gone up on 2 wheels just minutes before. The car is destroyed, flipping 6 times, but it could have been worse. With the driver's window shattered, Sainz' head lolls about, crashing into the ground on 2 of the flips.
Can you hang down there further, please?
Co-driver Lewis Moyer is unhurt in the crash, but Sainz is not so lucky, straining his neck ligaments.
Is it just your neck a little bit sore, or? A little bit, yeah. You have to check. I'd check with the doctor.
For the Spaniards, their rally is over. Sainz is airlifted to hospital for a precautionary checkup. Back on the track, the Celica isn't the only car in trouble. The Nissan Pulsar of Japanese driver Fujimoto is stuck high and dry. Despite the assistance of many willing spectators, it doesn't want to go anywhere. Eventually they realise the problem isn't just that they're stranded, it's mechanical, and their race is well and truly run. During the day, Ross Dunkerton is also having problems. His gearbox is feeling the strain, and so is he.
I'm getting depressed. Why? Everybody's going faster and I'm going slower.
If Dunkerton is depressed, fellow sandgroper Rob Herridge is confused, or at least his steering wheel is.
This green is for go, which is this way, red is for stop, and blue is for right, and yellow is for left. My navigator's a bit ambidextrous, or sort of dyslexic, you might say, which is this way, and this helps him a bit. He just calls out colours, and I just sort of try to go that way.
That's a good one.
With all the drama of the day, a change at the front of the field goes almost unnoticed. Frenchman Didier Auriel has taken over the lead.
Yes, this evening it's a good day for me. I have tried to drive maximum attack in the long stage. and we have to do a good time and no mistake. And but sometimes we need to be lucky sometimes.
The second car, another Lancia, that of Juha Kankkunen, is just seconds behind, and the Flying Finn remains unconcerned.
Didier can go tomorrow to open the road. Clean it for me.
Oh, he goes ahead of you,
yeah? Yeah, I'm happy about that.
Great, good.
I have been opening 3 days now, the road. Now it's enough for me.
No, it's his turn, yeah.
Tomorrow, okay, Didier, but on the last day I can also do it.
Again. So with more than half the rally completed, the placings go like this. Oriol in first place, just 1 second ahead of Kankkunen. Eriksson is third, Schwartz fourth, and Allen fifth. Ross Dunkerton is still the leading Australian in eighth, but his position is being threatened by Kiwi Rod Millen, 37 seconds behind. Coming up, the battle for the lead in the Commonwealth Bank Rally Australia.
Real-life drama has a name and number. Rescue 911.
Who rescues the risk-takers when they are in trouble?
Victims bravely reliving their nightmares to save others.
He's going to risk his life also.
Rescue 911. 7 o'clock weeknights on 9.
Stand by for this Sunday's Food and Wine Fair launch at Knox Tower Point Home and Leisure Center. Ready with hundreds of delicious meals from around the world, free wine tastings, over 3,000 prizes to be won. Okay. Take off this Sunday, Knox Tower Point.
Revolution's coming, and change is in the air. It's getting better and better. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Revolution's coming.
When we made the new 4-door Honda Civic, we broke so many rules, we caused a revolution.
Change is in the air.
Mrs. Fitzgerald, I hereby sentence your money to 5 years hard labor with no parole in a heavily guarded term deposit.
Object.
You can't.
I can.
Can't.
I can.
Can't.
I'll decide the amount of my deposit, and I'll choose the term. I want high interest paid every 6 months. I want it paid into the account of my choice. And if you don't like it, I'll go to another bank.
Which bank?
Comes natural to you, comes natural to me. Peter's natural ice cream comes so naturally. Love and that burn, full creamy taste. Can't get enough of it on your face. Fooling around with the family. Peter's natural ice cream, are you and me. Comes natural to you, comes natural to me. Peter's natural ice cream comes so naturally.
In bed with Madonna.
See, I get what I want.
Own it on video.
It's your ticket to the events and stories leading up to the 1992 Winter Olympics. The road to Albertville, Sunday on the Winter Olympic Network, Channel 9.
For the people of Perth, 2 special stages at the Burswood Casino gave the second opportunity to have a close look at the world's best rally drivers. As night fell, Frenchman Didier Oriol and his Lancia hung on to a 9-second lead over Finland's Juha Kankkunen, also in a Lancia. Of Rally Australia, cars moved south of Perth. Ahead of them are 13 special stages covering more than 200 kilometres. For Oriol, being the lead car provides special problems. There's plenty of loose surface gravel and little traction. and as his car throws much of it off the road, the following cars find it going much easier and faster. But that wasn't the only problem facing the Frenchman.
I have broken something. On a cassé quelque chose à l'arrière, différentiel ou demi-arc. Bon, je sais pas où à l'avant, j'en sais rien,
Something broken, Didier?
Oui, j'ai cassé quelque chose.
Something's broken, doesn't know what it is.
Further back in the field, the contest between the two leading Trans-Tasman contenders, Kiwi Rod Millen and Aussie Ross Dunkerton, is hotting up.
There's a bit of action between Rod Millen and Ross Dunkerton at the moment. We don't worry about the rest of them.
Oh, we're getting them. That was really slippery, everybody's saying. Did that suit your car?
I didn't think it was slippery.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, we haven't got enough horsepower for it to be slippery.
As the field heads towards Bunbury, Dunkerton starts pressing his claims to regain the lead. Kenneth Eriksson in a Mitsubishi is also pushing very hard and is keeping pace with Dunkerton. Oriel, however, is struggling to match their times, especially after he comes into contact with something he finds difficult to explain.
Oh dear, what happened here, Didier?
I don't know, maybe one tree? Yes, I don't know. It's difficult to see.
Yeah, oh dear. Very twisty in there.
Yes.
Soon after, Oriel was to have a problem of a more permanent kind. He blew a hole in his engine and exited the rally. But even more dramatic was the exit of Swedes Ingevar and Per Carlson in their Mazda.
Could you be able to send one of your marshals down with a radio to see if they're okay? Affirmative, stand by.
Confirming they are both out of the car. They have signalled to me that they are both okay. The navigator has walked back to warn the traffic because they are on the outside of the corner.
The pair managed to right their car and restart after losing considerable time. It was short-lived, however. The car gave up totally just 4 kilometres down the road. The southwest's major commercial centre of Bunbury was the scene of another major spectator stage, 3 kilometres of city streets and foreshore tracks. Here it was the turn of Toyota driver Armin Schwartz to set the pace. He blitzed around streets where a normal 60-kilometre limit prevails, being clocked on one short stretch at 179 kilometres an hour. The normally clean-driving Dunkerton was a little ragged, but holding a 38-second lead, it did him little harm. By the end of the day, the Finn had increased the lead to 1 minute and 9 seconds over the Mitsubishi of Kenneth Eriksson. The Toyota of Armin Schwartz was third, with Marku Allen in fourth in a Subaru and Timo Salonen fifth in another Mitsubishi. Moving up the placings, Rod Millen had slipped into sixth place, just 7 seconds ahead of his rival and top Australian, Ross Dunkerton. The big question remained, could anyone catch the flying Finn Dunkerton on the last day, and who would take the Down Under honours, Millen or Dunkerton? The answers after this break.
It's all new comedy with groove.
I think living down the street from the Reagans has had a very bad effect on me.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, 7:30 Tuesday on 9.
Brash's Crazy Christmas Clear Out this Sunday. Kenwood's Remote Hi-Fi sacrificed to $687. This Canon camcorder at a ridiculous $9.99. And TX Remote Video Player that records reduced to $2.99. Crazy Christmas Clear Out Sunday only where? The answer is Brash's Superstores.
Unless you're with SIO, you could discover your motor insurance policy belongs to a bygone era. SIO offer a new concept.
SIO?
I've had an accident.
Your name, sir?
Comprehensive motor insurance, giving free access to 24-hour help.
I'll get you a cab. Can I inform your family?
With one phone call.
Don't worry, Mr. Hall. We've got everything under control. Now, do you want to talk to our solicitor?
Talk to SIO now for comprehensive motor insurance.
Insurance as it should be.
Red Rooster invites you to join the fun of Walt Disney's World on Ice. Click lovable Mickey, Minnie and Goofy Playmates for $1.20 each with any Red Rooster chicken pack. And with each Playmate, you could win a free ticket to see Walt Disney's World on Ice. Just fill in the entry form and place in the box. So skate into Red Rooster, collect Disney Playmates and be in the draw for 2,000 tickets to see Walt Disney's World on Ice in Melbourne.
The new 1500 from Hoover is no ordinary washing machine. It's made from industrial-strength permasteel with a heavy-duty steel top and lid. And it's as tough inside as it is on the outside. As our crash test proves, it takes more than a little bump to stop a Hoover 1500. Hoover puts you ahead of the rest.
Last year, Celica's won in Finland, in New Zealand, and rallies throughout Europe. Now, the new Celicas are in Australia, though from under $29,000, you probably won't see them for dust.
These days, everybody is looking to save some money. So go to tomorrow's one-day sale at Target, where you can get no deposit lay-by and 12.5% off the marked price of everything from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's no slackening of pace on the final day as drivers continue to push hard as they run alongside the historic Goldfields pipeline from Mundaring to Kalgoorlie. For the lead car, that of Finn Juha-Kankkunen, it's a question of holding it all together for the last few stages. He has a 1:10 lead, but finds it hard to drive conservatively.
How fast are you driving today?
Not maximum speed, but still quite fast, because if you drive very slowly, the change of the rhythm, you know, is too big, so it's difficult to drive slowly.
In second place, Sweden's Kenneth Eriksson knows there's only one way he's going to overtake Kankkunen.
2 long stages to go, but he is driving too well now anyhow, because I can't catch him if he don't have a technical problem or a puncture or something.
Further back in the field, Millen and Dunkerton were still staging their private duel, with the Kiwi holding a slender 7-second lead.
What about your mate in front of you?
Well, I think he's probably driving the fastest he's ever driven in his life before.
I've got news for you. He clocked exactly the same time on that section.
Yeah, saw that.
By now, the four-wheel drive technology of the lead cars was holding together, but only just. More than a third of the field had replaced gearboxes at least once, and another third were on their 4th set of brake pads. And it's little wonder, most of the drivers rarely use the clutch, simply crashing through the gears with the throttle still flat to the floor to save time. Able to protect their lead over the last 4 stages, Juha-Kankkunen and Juha Purinen were the first to arrive back in Perth, winning the rally for the 3rd consecutive time, much to the joy of their hard-working Martini Lancia team. Then it was on to Perth's Forest Place for the final formalities, the checkered flag and, of course, the champagne. The final placings were Kankkunen and Purinen first, Eriksson and Parmenter second, Schwartz and Hertz third, Allen and Kivamaki fourth, Salonen and Silander 5th, and Millen and Sercom finally edged out Dunkerton and Gacentis in 6th place. Rounding out the top 10 was an impressive effort by Ed Ordinsky and Harry Manson in their standard production Mitsubishi Galant VR4 to also take out the Group N class honours. After 5 exhausting and demanding days, the low-key Kankinen finally cut loose, and little wonder. It was not only his 3rd victory in Australia, but it gave him a real chance of winning the World Championship by closing the gap with Spaniard Carlos Sainz. Now we can sit back and look forward to next year.
Finish the rally now.
Sideways. Kankinen turns up the wing and look at the dust starting to fly. But look at the sideways action here. Oh, screws it right off. He's watching there, soar away at the ball, gets plenty of air. Bumps it down. On the brakes now, sideways. Oh, this is fantastic stuff.
Next on 9, swap your brake shoes for snowshoes as we take you to Steamboat Springs in Colorado, where Olympic and World Cup ski champions are preparing to do battle in the Tournament of Champions. Come with us across the world to Colorado in the United States in just a few moments. At 8:30 on the anniversary of Pearl Harbor, Angie Dickinson, Brian Dennehy, Robert Wagner and Leslie Ann Warren head an outstanding cast for the adults-only blockbuster drama Pearl.
Tuesday night.
Hey, Tony, stand strong!
A night of fun for Sam.
Sam girl's gonna get a whooping from Pa.
Turns into a sticky dilemma for Tony.
Sam, you do not need booze to have a good time. Don't want a beer? Yeah.
Then at 9.
I need a vacation.
Peg, if you want to visit someplace new, try the kitchen.
Peg's up to...
Lots of Vegas!
And tries her luck at the casino.
You know what they say, bad marriage, good luck.
In Married with Children after Who's the Boss Tuesday on 9.
In Steamboat Springs, Colorado, the legend of the Wild West lives on. And today, a new style of gunslinger is back for a showdown. They're the most legendary skiers in history. 1976 Olympic gold medalist Franz Klammer, 5 times World Cup champion Ken Reed, speed skier Franz Weber, and America's 1984 gold medalist Bill Johnson. They're all here, back in town, and ready to ride again in the Tournament of Champions. Hello everyone. From early February next year, Wide World of Sports will be in Albertville, France to bring you the exclusive coverage of the 16th Winter Olympic Games. Our 2-week coverage will feature everything from the excitement of downhill racing to the grace and elegance of figure skating. Over the next couple of months, athletes from all over the world will be making their final preparations for the ultimate in sporting achievement, the Olympic gold medal. In our lead-up to this most spectacular of winter events, we'll take you to Europe for the men's and women's World Cup downhill season. We'll go freestyle skiing and we'll see the most daring of all, ski jumping. That's all in Ski World, starting very soon. But today, it's skiing of a different kind, the Tournament of Champions, an invitation to champions of the past to compete in head-to-head competition. Our coverage comes from the American network CBS and our host, Tim Ryan.
This is the first in a series of 3 special ski competitions featuring some of the greatest skiers in the history of the sport. Both men and women, Olympic past champions, World Cup titleists, will be racing here in head-to-head, side-by-side competition, somewhat of a tennis-type format, with the winners advancing to a championship final. And to help me with the commentary on the men's competition, a young woman who will be racing in the event herself, our former 1984 silver medalist, Kristen Cooper. Kristen, welcome, and I know you're going to be busy during the women's event, but who do you like on the men's side?
Well, last year, the final round came down to a battle between Bill Johnson and Franz Klammer. Franz Klammer prevailed last year, and Bill Johnson has made it clear that he is out for Klammer's blood. Now, this is a rivalry that goes back to Olympic and World Cup competition. It is very real. But these guys have their work cut out for them. I would put my money on Franz Weber, the Austrian who is still in competition in active training for the 1992 Winter Olympics in the speed skiing event. Powerful legs. Take a look at them when he gets on the course. He's going to be tough.
All right, Kristen. Well, on the men's side, a guy who's going to be competing in this event has joined us as a commentator as usual, but he's got one of those ski knees, so he'll be watching from the sidelines and helping us with the women's event. Another silver medalist, Billy Kidd. Billy, a strong women's field as well.
It sure is. It's a great day here, Tim. It's a great celebration day for the sport of skiing, I think, because not only is it snowing, we've got several Olympic gold medalists that are here, like Debbie Armstrong from the United States, multi-medalist Michaela Figini from Switzerland, and Hani Wenzel, who's won so many medals she can barely fit them in her tiny country of Liechtenstein. But I think that my choice for favorites might be Kiki Cutter.
Okay, well, I guess Kiki Cutter is going to have her work cut out for her, if you will, because this is indeed a strong field. 2 more ski racers, who will be commentators today as well, are at the top of the hill. Former bronze medalist Cindy Nelson and another former member of the U.S. Olympic team, Hank Kashiwa.
I'm here with the #1 men's seed, Franz Weber. Franz, you'll be skiing in the speed skiing event in the upcoming Olympics. Has your preparation helped you for today's race?
Yes, it is the first time I took a different approach. Now my friend Arnold Schwarzenegger committed to me to be the personal fitness and strength coach, and strength training, which the first time I do, has helped me tremendously. I'm much more confident and secure, especially only skiing 4 hours. And my technical coach in skiing is Franz Klammer. So with that support and now having this result, I think that can only help your mind and be confident and look forward to the Olympics.
Thanks. Now over to you, Hank Kashiwa.
Cindy, most of the racers have not had much experience in parallel racing. Coming from the World Cup, they've only had 1 racer on the hill at a time. In parallel racing, it's really important to concentrate on your race course, but I've always said that if you can see the racer next to you, especially his back, you're in big trouble. Tim?
The flags of nations represented here today signal the start of our Tournament of Champions. Let the racing begin.
On the 50th anniversary of Pearl Harbor,
Hop in.
for the first time on 9, an outstanding cast, a blockbuster. Pearl begins 8:30 tonight.
Excuse me, do you bring the family to Sizzler often?
Yeah, we love it. The staff, the food and the service, all terrific. And tonight was my turn to cook.
What do you think of the value?
The value? It's great. We can have dinner here and go to a movie.
Incredible salads.
Yeah, the salads are great. And it's such a relaxed atmosphere as well.
And there's such handsome young men.
Licensed lunch and dinner 7 days a week.
Working hard to make a living, bringing shelter from the rain. A father's son left to carry on, blue denim in his veins. Oh, he's a working class man.
With a 2.6-litre EFI engine, the new Mazda Bravo's the most powerful ute in its class, and we reckon the toughest. That's why the Bravo has a 12-month unlimited kilometre warranty. Mazda, built to work.
Roger David's 72-hour sale has been extended. Race in or you'll miss out on these fashionable double-breasted suits, $179.95. Pure wool executive suits, $229. For only 4 more days. Sports coats look terrific at $129. And trousers only $49.95. And leather jackets always look good at $199. Don't miss the 72-hour sale. It must end Sunday at Roger David. Looking good.
Oh, g'day. You know, sometimes just by looking at the outside doesn't mean you know what it's going to taste like on the inside. Whew. It's like cheese. How do you know which one tastes best? Well, luckily, there's Coon cheese, because Coon cheese has a taste guarantee. So you know, even before you open it, that Coon cheese is guaranteed to taste great every time.
Coon cheese, Australia's favourite tasty. Guaranteed.
Too right.
Hi. When you enter Tats Lotto, take my tip and play a systems entry. It's easy, convenient, and you multiply your chances of winning.
Fire. An act of war.
A struggle to the death.
No. Resolved in a deadly contest. Star Trek, 7:30 Wednesday on 9.
Back in Steamboat Springs, Tim Ryan with Kristen Cooper, and let's take a look at the format for the racing here today. It's side-by-side or parallel slalom racing, 2 runs per race. Total time determines the winner. There will be alternating courses, meaning each skier will race on each side. Racers will be handicapped based on the training runs earlier in the competition. Here are the matchups to begin the men's competition. Franz Weber against the elder statesman Stein Eriksen. Hansi Hinterseer against American Bill Johnson. 2 greats, Andreas Wenzel and Franz Klammer. American Henk Cashwa against Canada's Ken Reid. What a remarkable man, fit and feisty 40 years after winning his first gold medal. Stein Eriksen, a longtime resident now of the United States over in Deer Valley, Utah. But back in 1952, he was a Norwegian hero. And Kristen, imagine what these conditions were like.
Well, take a look at his vintage equipment. Stiff wooden skis, soft leather boots, and bear trap bindings that wouldn't release no matter what.
And in those days, they didn't exactly groom out those runs for the racers, but for the great Stein Eriksen, the snow was smooth, a gold medal victory in the giant slalom. Well, here today, Stein Eriksen will be facing a younger, stronger man, and the man who had the best time in training, Franz Weber, the speed skier you'll be watching at the Albertville Olympics. And Stein Eriksen, of course, with the advantage of 2.3 seconds established by the training run handicap. So he'll leave the gates first.
Well, it is hard to emphasize enough Stein's impact on U.S. skiing, and look at him now in his 60s. He still skis so smoothly and aggressively, too. He couldn't have come up against a tougher foe. I'm sure it was intimidating, but Stein is skiing well, and he's just got to run his own race.
Well, Eriksen over the finish line first, and he'll carry that into the second run. Right now, let's find out how he feels about his first effort. Cindy Nelson.
Stein Eriksen, 40 years since your gold medal.
40.
How does it feel?
I'm slightly tired, but exceptionally happy. Yeah, it was a fun race. It's a great thing.
Good. Well, good luck on your second run. You have to keep it up.
And thank you, Franz, for taking it easy.
Well, second matchup in the men's competition, Austrian 37-year-old Hansi Hinterseer, a former slalom specialist, against American Bill Johnson, the downhill winner in 1984. Bill and his wife Gina, of course, still recovering from the tragic loss of their son Ryan in a drowning accident several weeks ago. But Bill in competition here today and ready to go against the flamboyant Austrian Hansi Hinterseer, and Hinterseer will have the advantage of 0.4 seconds. He'll come out first.
What a great matchup. Hinterseer, always the smooth operator, both on skis and off, and Johnson, aggressive and bold, irreverent as ever. He never changes.
And Hinterseer using that advantage to his advantage at this point.
Beautiful skiing. Watch how they're stepping off the ski, which is very important because it's not very steep here. You've got to work for speed.
Well, Hinterseer across the line first by 0.1, so he'll now have a half-second advantage when they meet in their second run. Well, next up, it'll be Franz Klammer, the Kaiser, against Andreas Wenzel, and Cindy Nelson tells us more about this great champion.
Franz Klammer became the most famous downhill racer in history, with perhaps the most famous downhill run at the 1976 Olympics.
By the time I walked into the starting hut, I knew I will do it. I knew I can do it, but I have to risk everything. I really have to go on the edge. And I was mentally prepared to win the race. I was not thinking maybe I will win or probably have a good chance, but I will win.
Today, 16 years later, Franz Klammer is 37. Now, golden moments are spent with his young daughter. But the most successful downhill racer ever has not settled down. As a race car driver, he won the 1989 Austrian road racing title. In business, he's developed a fashionable and successful clothing line, and now he's trying to tame his latest challenge.
You cannot master this sport. I have done so many things, and I could do it with just imagination. So I knew I should do this, and I could manage it. But in golf, it's really difficult. Some days it works out, some days it doesn't.
Although Franz Klammer's greatest years as a ski racer are behind, and he now spends more time on the golf course than on the race course, this Olympic legend is best remembered by his past.
Well, Cindy, the fire still burns in the belly of Franz Klammer. Believe me, even at events like this, he's in there tough today against the 1980 overall World Cup champion Andreas Wenzel from Liechtenstein. Klammer, with a 0.8 advantage, comes out first.
Well, Klammer comes out firing, too. He's incredibly graceful on his skis, despite the fact that he specialized in downhill through his career. But Wenzel, silver medalist and bronze medalist in giant slalom in 2 separate Olympics, so this is his forte.
And Wenzel giving up nearly a second to Klammer, but what a finish for Wenzel, and he comes across first. So Andreas Wenzel winning the first of 2 runs against the Kaiser Franz Klammer.
Wenzel wins.
Well, next in the starting gate will be American Hank Cashua, 2-time Olympian, who won the 1969 U.S. National Championships, and then in 1975, the overall World Pro Skiing title. He'll be matched against Ken Reed from Canada, an outstanding downhiller, one of the famous Crazy Canucks. And Cashua has a 0.9 advantage. He'll break first from the red.
Well, this is Hank's big comeback. He blew his knee out last year in this very event. Good skiing. Look at how they step from ski to ski. And Ken Reed, again, a downhill specialist, but watch him turn.
And Reed catching Cashua despite the advantage, and he is going to cruise to an easy victory in the first of 2 runs against the American Hank Cashua. A 1.1 victory for Ken Reed. Well, next in the starting gate will be the second run between Franz Weber and Stein Eriksen. And Eriksen will now have a 2.4 second advantage over Franz Weber. So Weber's got a lot to make up here. The speed skier currently training for the Albertville Olympics.
Course is clear. Racers ready. Set now. 5, 4.
Weber is going to have to blast out of the gates. He's starting behind Stein, and he's got a lot of time to make up. Good start. Whoa, he loses his pole right there. He's really going to have to go now. This is a short course. There is not much room for mistakes and not very much room to really do what you've got to do to catch up, but watch him do it now. He is just skating. Beautiful skiing.
Franz Weber passing the veteran Eriksen to an easy victory, despite giving away 2.4 seconds, and Weber advances to the semifinal. Well, Bill Johnson wants to be there, but he's got to get past Hansi